Hello, brothers and sisters of my heart. My name is Publio. I'm going to play and sing a couple of songs to help me, to help you, to help us to harmonize ourselves, to prepare for the Spiritism talk tonight. So the first song called Vibration and goes like this. Loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always. Loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality, and we join Jesus for eternity. Now I'm gonna sing a song that really calmed me down. If I close my eyes to pray, I heard the sound of the sea far away. If I close my eyes to pray, I close my eyes to pray, Jesus cradles me, in his arms I sway.
Sometimes it's not so easy. Sometimes it's not so close. Sometimes we build our dreams, but then we see them decompose. When you feel down the dumps, feeling sad and blue, give life a chance, my friend, the sun will shine again on you. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Have little faith in you. Maybe tomorrow you can dream all your dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, it doesn't mean the end. Believe you can come through. The rainy days are true. Sometimes okay to feel blue. Have little faith in you. Dream all the dreams again. Though some sorrow remains, your dreams can get you through. Have little faith in you.
When I go in to pray, I look for my good Jesus. And when I close my eyes, I can feel all his light. I open my heart for all he has to say. He shows me the best way I can enjoy my life. Jesus, Jesus, they never we apart. Please bring all your light to shine inside my heart. Jesus, Jesus, I can be content. I have your endless love and your protecting hand.
recueillez les paroles de lumière du Maître divin. Il me plaît de rêver, de me trouver aussi aux côtés de Jean, Simon, Jacques, André et Lévi, de planter dans nos âmes la sémence de la foi, la sémence que Jésus nous donne et qu'un jour poussera. Et je m'imagine enfant à cet endroit-là, peut-être Jésus m'inviterait à sortir un soir dans les jardins de chez Pierre. J'entendrai sa voix à dire: tu sens cette brise, la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi. Et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra. Et je m'imagine enfant à cet endroit-là, peut-être Jésus m'inviterait à sortir un soir dans les jardins de chez Pierre. J'entendrai sa voix à dire: tu sens cette brise, la lune, tu la vois, il faut repartir tout comme elle, puisque telle est la loi. Et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra. Et pendant ta prière en famille, tous les jours on se reverra.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Spiritist talk. Thank you for joining us tonight. And before we start, as usual, a couple of announcements. We ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place if that is possible. Our meeting will have a 30-minute presentation followed by Q&A. Then after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. Our meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Concaffras Americas through their Facebook, and also every Saturday at 8 p.m. by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. And for those of you who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. Eastern. And guess what? New classes will be starting in the fall. Reach out for more information through our social media and our Tuesday talks, and stay tuned. And we also offer virtual live gospel at home. Did you know that? The gospel at home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the gospel at home study meetings. By posting in our chat, in the chat, you can request it. And you are mostly welcome to include your name or someone else's name in our private list of positive vibrations, whether incarnate or discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing energy and strengthen goodwill. The link can also be found in our chat. And finally, the topic of today's meeting will be true purity, unclean hands, from chapter 8 of the Gospel according to Spiritism. Blessed are the pure of heart, which will be facilitated by our brother Villa from Winnipeg. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and they will be addressed at the end of our talk. And now, time to invite our speaker, who is the only one who can be called Rodrigo. I am Farias, and the other one is Rod. So his first name takes precedence here. Welcome, my brother. How are you?
How are you, Rodrigo? I'm
Very
fine.
good.
Glad to be back.
And I'm very happy to see you too. Well, you will be looking after our opening prayers, and I will be waiting for you at the end of this talk. God bless you, brother.
Thank you very much. Bye. Hello, everyone. I'm glad to be back. And then, as usual, we're going to do our initial prayer. And I'm going to invite everyone to close your eyes if you wish and elevate our thoughts to our Master, to the divine power. Breathing slowly and feeling this energy, feeling all this good energy surround us. And you breathe and you take the breath in and out. Then we imagine the figure of our master approaching us with a big smile in his face, looking at us, bringing his words of comfort and console for our tired souls that continue in this journey of human life, hoping for learning, for meaning. We ask, Master, your protection tonight, the inspiration of the good spirits, that the message you shared here tonight can reach the hearts of those in suffer, those that are in need of comfort and consolation. Divine Master, help us to continue our journey in this planet of proven expiations. Help us to be brave, to continue on despite the challenge. Help us to understand that everything has a reason, and this reason is good for us. Please help us to have more faith and trust in your guidance. And then we can continue on, always being grateful for the opportunities that we receive. Please, Master, be with us today and always. So be it. All right, so let's get started. I'm going to share my screen here with you. I hope you are seeing my full screen. So, as you are aware, so as Rodrigo presented today, we're going to talk about true purity, unclean hands. And just this is the chapter, and then the topic and the items that we're going to cover. So when you think about true purity, unclean hands, tonight we will reflect on this chapter about this topic. And first we need to understand the context. We need to contextualize what's happening and what Jesus was trying to teaching us that time. So let's try to bring the context. So this you can find in the item number 8. So then the scribes and Pharisees who had to come to Jerusalem approached Jesus and said to him, "Why do your disciples violate the tradition of the ancients? For they do not wash their hands when they eat their meals." So it's important here because this already gives us a clue about the true purity unclean hands. So in the old traditions in Jewish time, so of course we do still doing that. In many cultures, we wash our hands as a hygiene before we eat. And then we always have to think about Jesus' teachings. I think that we need to think it as an onion. So onion that has several layers. So, and to understand Jesus' teachings, you have to take the layers off to see the depth of the teachings. Because what look apparently very simple, it has more meaning than we can imagine. So here is just the Pharisees questioning Jesus. And we know that the relationship between the scribes and Pharisees and Jesus wasn't that great. And the scribes and Pharisees always try to catch Jesus on those tricky questions. And Jesus replied to them, "Why do yourselves violate the commandment of God to follow your tradition?" So Jesus was so wise here because they say, "Well, your disciples violate the law, the ancient law." But Jesus didn't say no and try to explain. He just replied with another question. Why do you violate the commandment of God? See the difference? So the difference is that the Pharisees and the scribes, they are bring the human context to say the ancients. So this is human that creates that tradition. So, and then Jesus brought here, wow, how about you? Because now we're talking about the God commandment. So it's a very strong, different perspective. And Jesus likes sometimes when this teachable moment when he shakes a little bit the structure. So this was so powerful, the message, that he continues. That's why the prophet said, "These people honor me with their lips, but their hearts remains far from me. And it is in vain that they honor me by teaching maxims and ordinances that come from men." Jesus really was that in that sentence showing the hypocrisy of the Pharisees, the Sadducees, and the scribes, because they teach all these beautiful things from the Old Testament, from the Mosaic law, but in real life, in their personal lives and how they interact, they're probably not doing that. So this is Jesus was saying, this is what already told by Isaiah, for example. So then Jesus continues saying to the people that were watching, "Hear and understand this well. It's not what enters the mouth that defiles the person, but what comes out of the mouth of the person." So if you analyze this, what Jesus is saying here, that what comes out of the mouth proceeds from the heart. Basically, remember that the heart is a symbolic expression of human feelings. You use the heart as a symbol of love, for example. So in the symbolism, and Jesus was very good to use symbolic and metaphors to teach in parables. So he is showing that what we say is what we feel, that it referred to the heart, because that's how people understood that time. And then what's make the man unclean is not if I wash my hands or not. So that's not the point. So this Jesus' disciples wasn't unclean because they didn't wash their hand before they eat. So Jesus is saying that, wow, what you say that's come out of your mouth that make you unclean. So, and he continues saying, for it's from the heart, or meaning our feelings and thoughts, the evil thoughts like murders, adulteries, fornications, robberies, perjuries, blasphemies, and slanders proceed. Jesus is showing you very strong examples how our mouth and our thoughts end into actions that all representative of humans' vices. So the things that make the man unclean, and when they say men here, remember their old language, they're talking about human beings. Unclean are there, but eating without having washed one's hands does not make a man unclean. So remember, Jesus was not teaching only to the Sadducees, the Pharisees. They are teaching to the people that was listening. The Pharisees and the Sadducees, and this specific case was the scribes that were challenging Jesus, and Jesus used this opportunity of challenge to become a teachable moment for everyone that was listening to his teachings. So then Jesus continued and said, well, remember, every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted, you'll be uprooted. And continue, leave those, they are blind, who lead the blind. So basically, he's showing to the people that the leaders of that time, they were blind to the truth because they are so stuck with their old traditions and the way to do things that the deep meaning and the real meaning of things was left behind for people to show through this. Okay, if I wash my hands, that's a tradition, then I'm pure people. If I do that, I'm pure. And Jesus is saying that not that way. It's not about if you take a shower or wash your hands, make you clean in that sense. And the cleaning here is not about the physical body. Jesus is referring to the spirit. So, and they say, if one blind man, here human, lead another, both fall into the pit. And that's quite simple. So if we don't know where we are going, so we're going to end up lost. And then what we need? A GPS. Who is our GPS? Jesus, the mother. So then we can use those. Then what happened in this? The word of Jesus was so powerful that the disciple come close to Jesus and said, Master, did you know that when the Pharisees heard what you just said, they were offended by it? So the disciples perceived that the Pharisees get offended. And Jesus emphasized again, every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted, you'll be uprooted. And said again, don't worry about them. Leave them. They are blind. Who wanna follow them are blind as well. And guess what? One blind lead another blind, fall to the pit. So Jesus was very clear the analogy. So who you following here? So, and he continues. What happened next? So while Jesus was speaking and taught those teachings, so one Pharisee asked Jesus to come to his house to have dinner in his home. And Jesus went. And then Jesus sits on the table, and then the Pharisee began to say to himself, why did you not wash his hands before dinner? And then Jesus, that could understanding everything that was happening, he replied, "You Pharisees take great care in wash the outside of the cup and plate. However, the inside of your heart is full of greed and iniquity. How foolish you are! Did not he who made the outside also make the inside?" So see how provocative in a good way Jesus make people to reflect. So you're so concerned about the outside that I didn't wash my hand, but the reality is the inside that matters. Why you are so concerned about the outside, or the others can see if inside you are full of greed, inequity. So was a interesting teaching. And then we continue this. As you noticed before, the Pharisees, the Sadducees, the scribes, they kind of misunderstood God's teachings because they create so many traditions that is externalized and show everyone it was more exterior expressions instead of interior expressions. And the same occur with Christ's moral teachings. Many of us Christians come to believe that this salvation was more surely granted by means of outward practices than by morality. Then we show everyone that every Sunday we go to the church. Fantastic. So then we are doing on the other 6 days of the week? And I go to the Spirit Center and I receive passes and I get all this. Then I leave the Spirit Center and I don't change anything. So I'm not based on my attitudes and moral. Just to show people we do charity and we show off to everyone. So the question becomes, are we getting it? So what really Jesus is trying to show us? It seems that it may be quite clear at the moment that it's not enough, therefore, to put on the appearance of purity. Above all, one must be pure of heart. And what this really means, pure of heart, is I have good feelings, good intentions. And how can we do that? So how we can become more pure? So how can we start not only think about appearance? And this a strong concept comes that's called religion. And then we have to come back to understand what is the original purpose of religion. Because there's a lot of misunderstanding nowadays what religion really is in the essence. In the Jesus essence, what he's trying to teach us is that religion is a way to lead people to God. But people cannot reach God unless they are perfect. So it's interesting that how I'm going to understand something that is perfect if I'm imperfect. That's why we still discussing so many things and fighting and waste a lot of time try to prove that, oh, God exists, God doesn't exist. I believe, I don't believe. It's all about us. So, but the reality is religion helps how? When you connect us to God. That's what the religion is supposed to be about. Other than that, is not a religion. Why is not? Because any religion that does not enable people to become better does not meet its objective. That's objective of any belief systems in humankind. If we start to look any single belief system and then religion, if we take the core, everything will be summarized in love God above all and your neighbor as yourself. Basically, this is all summarized in a very simplistic way. That's what religion is all about. That's what the connection is about. It's not about a set of rules that it have a lot of dogmas. That's a concept of a dictionary. So the real true meaning of religion is this connection, is the union between God and us. Is when we can talk to our father or mother, whatever you prefer to call, one-on-one. And a prayer is a great exercise to do that. And that's why you see us pray every single time. Why? Because we want to connect to the highest. So then you can ask, okay, I think I got this. However, there are a lot of bad things happening there, including people that involve in religion. Yes, remember that people are people. And people are imperfect. So there is no place that you're going to go that you're going to find the perfect spiritist center, the perfect pastor, the perfect father, the perfect. They're not perfect. They are humans. And we need to understand that. And then when you say, wow, there's a lot of wrong things around the globe. Yes, you're right. But look at this. Woe to the world because of scandals. For it's necessary that scandals come. But woe to the person through whom the scandal comes. Basically, here is saying scandal's gonna happen. Why? Think about our planet. We're in a planet of proof and expiations. Guess what? We're gonna have wrongdoings. We're imperfect. However, the scandal will come. Great. The scandal will be using as a teaching tool. However, those that cause the scandal have consequences of their choice. So what does scandal really mean in this context? So scandal in this case, it's any ordinary meaning here that we're referring to is every action that shocks morality or decency in an ostensive way. And then you can name so many scandals that we are watching nowadays. So if you think about those concepts, so the scandal will come, so then we should be not the ones cause them because there are consequences, and we have to be responsible for, and we have to fix the mess that we cause. So then it's necessary that scandal come because being in a state of expiation, as we are on earth, humans are punished by means of contact with their vices. So our life on earth is so complicated in this sense because we have many vices and we have to face those vices. Because the only way that you can overcome a vice is really if you face the vice and then you overcome. Of which they are the first victims. Every time that I have a vice, I'll be the first victim of that vice. And people sometimes don't understand that. Oh, I'm too ambitious, envy, any error, wrongdoings that you can think of, the first one that's gonna suffer will be us. And then there is this saying, it's very famous, that Jesus said, if your hand is caused for a scandal, cut it off. So just be careful. Remember the onion and the layers. So this is not really telling us to cut our hands. That's just a metaphor to say what? One must destroy within oneself all cause of scandal. What a scandal here means wrongdoings. So that is of evil. So every mistake that we do is result of our ignorance, and most of the time is also the evil that we still have. And of course, as we get better and then we face our vices and our challenge, so we maybe overcome this challenge and then this vice disappear. The only way to overcome vices is working our virtues. And he continues here, one most uproot from one heart every impure sentiment and every immoral tendency. So that's what Jesus is trying to tell us. That's why he's saying if your hand is doing something wrong, instead of continue doing it, cut it off. So it basically here is saying, if you're doing evil, just stop it and change and do something good. So watch your feelings, watch your thoughts, because your actions are based on what Jesus said. Watch your mouth, because what your mouth is saying, that's what your heart feeling. So the scandal will come, and then what we need to understand is that one most understand by these words that evil is a consequence of humans' imperfections, and not that there is a obligation for them to commit it. And this is important here because we know that evil exists, but the choice of wrongdoing is ours, and it's our free will. I know it's hard, and nobody's asking us to be perfect from day to night and night to day. But we need to start to improve ourselves. We cannot just, sometimes, I'm in this way and people need to accept. No, they do not. You have to change, you have to become better, and you have to understand why you're behaving the way that you are. So why you are so mean? Why you are always complaining? So we need to identify those things to be able to be more well balanced emotionally speaking. Because every time that we have more and better feelings, we feel happier because you have happier thoughts. And happier thoughts, you have better actions, and that fulfills is a snowball effect. It grows and grows and grows. Now, I wanted to challenge you in an imaginative exercise. Imagine if there's no long wrongdoings on earth. Because every time that we do something wrong, sooner or later, there is something called guilty that will come. I don't feel guilty now. Don't worry. When you discarnate and then you realize what you did, then you're going to feel guilty there. So you can feel guilty here. So this feeling of guilty is heavy. They consume us from the inside. What if there is no more guilty? So can you imagine a world where there's no wrongdoings? There is no need to have consequences because you always make good choices. Imagine if humankind behaved that way. All the people focus on the moral. No one would try evil to their neighbor. What's the consequence of that? Think about it. Do you think we'd be happier? And then what does this happiness of, because we're talking about spirits here, right? Because as a spiritist, we believe in a spiritual world, and the spiritual life is the real one. And why is this? Because I'm just to exercise with you this imagination, a world without guilty. Now, how that looks like. Now, continue the imagination in knowing all things, in feeling no hatred. Imagine that you have no hatred, no jealousy, no envy, ambition, or any of the passions that make people unhappy. The love that unites then is a source of supreme happiness. They do not experience the needs, suffering, or anxieties of material life. They are happy with the goods they do. You know what's the beautiful thing here? This is what Jesus promised us. That's the promise. And I call this the promised land. That's the promised land. So that's where, if you did the imagination exercise, how are you feeling now? If you think in a world without vices. And then Leon Denis tells us the simple sentence, no progress is possible without careful observation for oneself. So what Jesus really, I'm going to use the onion analogy again, as you move the layers of the onion and you go to the core principle, the beginning, the inner layer of the onion is self-knowledge. Know yourself. Because if you know yourself, that's what's going to happen. And you're going to understand here what Jesus is trying to say. And this comes back to the beginning of my talk. Hear and understand this well. It's not what enters the mouth that defiles the person, but what comes out of the mouth of the person. Really, translate to real life. Think carefully in these three aspects. Feelings, thoughts, and actions. Every feeling results in a thought, and any thought can result in an action. How we are doing our spiritual hygiene. How are we dealing with our feelings? Which kind of thoughts we are generating? And what actions? It's simple to say that good feelings generate good thoughts and generate good actions, and vice versa. How easy is that? I can tell you for myself, this is easier said than done. It's not easy. It requires discipline, repetition, because we are imperfect. And you can say, well, Rodrigo, do you have any advice for me? Sorry to disappoint you, I do not. And you say, wait a minute, you don't have advice? I don't, but I know someone who does. St. Augustine. Look what St. Augustine is teaching us, and St. Augustine is giving us the formula to change ourselves. Do what I used to do when I was living on the earth. At the end of each day, I examine my conscience, review what I have done, and ask myself whether or not I had failed to fulfill some duty, or whenever or not anyone might have a reason to complain about me. This is called self-reflection. How many of us, guilty, have time to do self-reflection? How many times in our life we stop and think deeply, as St. Augustine is suggesting us to do? Because this simple reflection and acts to do this on a regular basis, it's gonna transform us little by little, day by day. And that's what I hope for all of us. Thank you very much for your time and to listen to me. And I'm open for questions if you have any.
Thank you, my friend. Very enlightening, as usual. We do have a few questions.
Let's do it.
Publio. Oops. So Publio asked, we see so many religions in the world. Each one is the best. Which one to follow?
I wish I had the answer. I say to you this: whatever place that you have the feeling that you're fulfilled, and you find God in that place, and you become a good person, that's the religion for you. Which is the best one for me? That's a different question. So Spiritism is better for me because fulfill my needs, maybe not the needs of other person. And that's why you have so many. So God is so merciful. They're like, what do you like? You like this? There you go. You like this? There you go. And allow us to experience this. Because by the end of the day, at the end of the era, you're going to discover that it doesn't matter what name we give. Love is the one, the law that oriented the entire humankind.
On that train of thought, I was reading today the book The Messenger from André Luiz. The chapter where Tobias is introducing André Luiz to the Ministry of Communication, and I would like to quote a little paragraph. Your talk reminded me of that paragraph. It's Tobias speaking to André Luiz. Our vision on earth is often immersed in the circle of external worship and religious activity. There, we believe that all problems can be resolved through supplication. However, genuflection does not resolve fundamental spiritual issues, nor does mere worship of the divine constitute the ultimate edification. Indeed, every act of humility and love is honorable and holy, and the Lord will undoubtedly grant us his blessings. And then the emphasis here. However, it is essential to consider that maintaining and cleaning the vessel to receive them is our duty. Cleaning the vessel is our duty to receive God's blessings. And I guess the question I have with that, and maybe this has been answered at multiple stops, at multiple parts. Well, one is this that Publio brought is the concepts of thought and action are easy to grasp. Like it's easier, or my understanding, it's easier to be vigilant about my thoughts and especially actions. expressions, physical expressions of my thought. But how can we exercise better feelings? How can we, maybe this is a second question, how can we clean our vessel of our soul?
$1 million question, right? So when you think about feelings, we can relate it to the word emotions. So, and controlling our emotions is key for the thoughts, because there is no thoughts that doesn't come from a feeling, a sentiment that was originated. Because believe me or not, we are emotional beings. Of course, we use reasoning, but this is also part of our emotion. So that all the experience. So how to do that? So there are some options. So Saint Augustine give you a great option, self-reflection. So you start, for example, you get mad when you drive. The question become why? And if you get mad, okay, let it go, and then replace that. What you can do. So is there anything that's triggering? So maybe if you listen to a good music, or if you listen like you're doing what I'm doing, listening to the messengers in the car, so then my mind is not worried about the external things. If someone is gonna be 30 seconds before I am, so then small things like good books, good music, studying to know yourself, participating in group studies, charity. So everything that it helps us to control our vices, and then you can detect what's your, let's call, Achilles tendon, your weaknesses. I know that my weakness, I'm too selfish. So try to work on things. Charity is a good work for selfish people. So because you have to donate something to someone else without expecting anything back, because that's the real charity. So I think that if you, I think it's, if you do a list here, so vices, and then like antidotes, so then use those antidotes, and then tools, and you have a tools. So music, good books, a good conversations, good friendships, good relationships. Be optimistic. See the bright side of things. Feel the feelings and let them go. So I think those help you to learn how to control your emotions.
As a rational person myself, I love to do lists or steps, objective steps to achieve a goal. So thank you for sharing those with us.
Yeah, and remember that it's individual. So some people has different characteristics. We can help them to find what they need, because I cannot find what you need. You can
Yeah.
find. So I just need to. We need to figure out. Oh, I know that Rodrigo likes that. So Rodrigo, tell me what you can do, and then you say I can do that. That's a great idea. So because otherwise you become too prescriptive, and there is no formula, because every human being is different, and
Mhm.
we are in different stages, and even our stage change. So what you need to today maybe is not what you need tomorrow, and this is like, that's why the self-reflection that Saint Augustine is inviting us to do every single day. You should reflect on and say, what I did today was good, what I did that I could improve, and I try to avoid tomorrow. Because imagine if you do this in small doses, little by little, every day. In 1 year, we have 365 different attitudes in 1 year.
Yeah, it is little by little, step by step, indeed. All right, that's all the questions I have or we have. Thank you kindly again for sharing the water of life with us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. Have a wonderful night. Bye,
God bless
everyone.
you, brother. Bye. All right. Just give me 1 second. And now time to move on to for tonight's spiritual treatment, the preparation for it, which starts with a pass But what is Pass? Pass is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. Passes can help us restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy, positive energy and maybe emotions as well as we described it, as we touch it on today. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. And you may close your eyes to help with mentalization. It helps me considerably to close my eyes. And during the past, that water that I asked you to set aside is going to absorb spiritual energy that you and your family can benefit from. And now we are going to pray in preparation for the Pass, and this is going to be our closing prayer as well. All right, so I ask you to close your eyes, to calm your mind, to breathe in, breathe out slowly. Try to put aside the concerns of our day, the challenges of our life, just for a few minutes. Let's focus on what we have inside. Let's clear our thoughts, our vessel. Let's try to open the door of our heart and let the light of our Master Jesus get in. He's waiting for us. He's knocking our door. All we need to do is to open. Thank you, Father, for another day of study, for your teachings. Thank you for the inspiration given to our brother Villa, for his dedication, for his commitment to this group. Thank you for this talk. Help us, Father, to reflect on everything that has been said, to see how these teachings apply individually to each one of us, and help us to put in practice what we learned. Father, I ask you to bless this group, each individual, Publio, Marceli, who are helping behind the scenes. Protect our group. Help us to grow in your direction, Father. Fortify our faith. Be with us, Lord, now and forever. Amen.
Let's get ready for the Pass and water fluidification. Please get a container with clean water to be fluidified. Brothers and sisters, it does not matter where you are, what type of hardships you are going through. Jesus is always ready to come and help us. Place yourself in a comfortable position, which can make it easy for you to reach concentration and receptiveness. Breathe slowly and easily. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Fill up your lungs with air and let it out very slowly. Let tranquility and peace energies penetrate your lungs and move throughout your body. Your soul in harmony with your body feels easy and in peace. Let's imagine Jesus' passage. A clear day, the sun's golden rays illuminate the happy passage in Capernaum. A lot of white houses, multicolored vines, and hopping birds fill the landscape with optimism. The news about cures attracted the crowd in need. Suddenly, Jesus appears slim and handsome. His tunic was hanging down to his feet. At sunset, all those with sick people hit by several illnesses would bring them, and as he placed his hands over each one, he would heal them. This is what Luke the evangelist says. Let's imagine Jesus approaching you. He holds his friendly hands over our head. Notice that from his generous hands, a waterfall with clear and pure water originated from his love come to bathe you. It flows on your head, goes down your shoulders, bathe all your being, and brings you peace, serenity, and balance. They remove all impurities and pacify you. Feel the water bathing you, cleaning. Breathe. Now, imagine Jesus as a sun before you. His light, his warmth surrounds you. Feel the healing energy that comes from Jesus towards you. He hears your prayers. Trust him. His love is endless and it follows you and protects you. It provides you with everything you need. Have faith. Absorb the healing energy from Jesus. His light surrounds you. Feel the energy going through all your body. Feel stronger and in peace. Lord Jesus, our divine friend, reach out your generous hands, Lord, and change this water into medicine for our physical and spiritual illnesses. Protect us, Jesus, with your peace. Spread those vibrations of love throughout my home, Lord. May peace, health, and tranquility reign here. We are very grateful to you, Jesus. Stay with us today and forever. Thank God. Please remember to use the fluidified water.
And thank you all for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Conference Americas at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. And next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. And don't forget to follow Spiritism Canada on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube, and the Spiritist group Path of Light on Facebook as well. Have a wonderful night. God bless you.
it to the world. Good vibes, laughter and shout outs, show it to the world, always follow